to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer, Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. This week's guest is 2012 first-round pick and Philadelphia Flyers two-way forward, Scott Laughton. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Nasty Knuckles. What is happening in your world, Nasty?
What's up, Riggs? Not much, man. Just watching a lot of playoff hockey, man, and I love it.
It's been really entertaining, and obviously for Maple Leafs fans,
you had to jump right into it. Didn't
I have. You teed it up, and I was like, wow. But yeah, no, the playoffs have been interesting. Nice to see some solid series going on. A lot of overtime games, back and forth for the most part.
There is, and I will quote Charles Barkley too, because he's a basketball guy, obviously, but he said numerous times that playoff hockey, NHL. I mean, well, he only watches NHL, so playoff hockey is the best sport he feels like to watch. As you know, playoffs just the way they're going. But you throw the overtimes in. To me, that's just, even when, you were playing, I was working, like just I wasn't even obviously on the ice, but just the feeling you have, it's amazing. Every little thing, you're just,
right.
I mean,
energy behind
bounce,
it. Right?
Yeah, it's the most amazing feeling, and especially when you win that overtime game. It's devastating when you lose it. You're almost fuck, I wish we would have just lost maybe, but it's just the intensity, the feeling, and even as fans watching, it's just great,
Oh yeah.
It's been really exciting.
Yeah, the emotions, the energy, it's just something you really can't quantify. Even as a non-fan, just getting into playoff hockey, something electric about it. Obviously, with COVID, now you got some of the teams have packed house, and then you have the Canadian markets.
You're Canadians.
Oh my God.
You're Canadian.
Yeah, it's almost a slap in the face,
watch,
but nonetheless, the energy is there, the excitement is there, and it's a hard trophy to win, the Stanley Cup, and
hardest, I think.
And just the guys pouring so much, like you said, the overtime games, like going that extra mile and then losing is just like salt in the wound. But obviously, on the other side of it, winning those games is an extra momentum booster. But overall, it's been fun to watch. It's been really fun to watch.
No doubt. And like you said, we had a seventh game last night. Toronto blew a 3-1 lead. I mean, they are missing Tavares and they're missing Muzzin for that game. He had gotten hurt the game before. You can't make excuses, and no one does in hockey. I love that about it too. Injuries happen. And I saw someone said last night, I think PJ Stock said last night on one of his things, that everyone's hurt. Almost every guy's. You guys were all bumped up and bruised, but there are some guys playing with major injuries that people won't know about till maybe after the season. And some guys don't even want to talk about, even offer up that they were hurt. But anyway, the wheels kind of fell off there for T.O. and it was fun to watch, but man, I got to say, I felt bad. Wayne Simmons on that team.
Yeah.
I was really hoping they were going to make a good push, and also Jumbo.
Right.
Jumbo Joe Thornton is he could still play, but I don't know what his plans are next year. I don't even know if he's decided, but it was tough to watch him lose like that. But it was also kind of exciting to watch those young Canadian kids play on that team. And Carey Price, I mean, are you kidding me? This guy he was just snatching fucking rockets. They labeled for the top of the net like it was nothing and just throwing it away. But anyway, it was fun to watch. I didn't expect it.
I didn't expect it either. Even, when they won the game, I guess it was game 5, and I was like, all right, throw them a bone.
Right.
I definitely didn't see it coming, going to 7 and then winning. But
even in game 6 with Toronto fought back to tie the game, I'm like, good effort by Montreal, but this one's going to end quick. And then next thing you know, game 7, and then it's hard to bet against Carey Price, in one game. If you got one game, there's a few goalies you would say I'd take, and he's one of them for sure.
That's it. Yeah. They had the experience there.
Yeah. So anyway, the Islanders won a game last night in overtime over Boston, so they're tied at 1. And I'll tell you what, that overtime was so fast paced. I just remember thinking last night as I'm watching it, it's going to be just something stupid's going to happen. And sure enough, the defenseman just went to go D to D and he hit it off.
Yeah, right. Player. High F3 there. What the heck?
Yeah, like I don't know.
I've never seen that happen before. My
God. The
poor
guy looked like he was going to cry, and I was almost like, mistakes happen, but I'm not even sure that's his mistake. I mean, he just went to go D to D, it looked like, and I'll tell you those Cizikas buried it.
Yeah, he did. I watched it a couple of times. Who was the high F3 there? But he almost like second guess, should I play this or just let it go? And I think he turned his blade almost a little bit to try and pull it out. And oh my God, I was like, geez, I want to just let that one go, because that was a pretty short pass versus the long D to D pass he was looking for. But yeah, just freak things like that. Just, it was the way the game goes.
And that line, that's one of my favorite lines in hockey, is Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck. Like, yeah, you could, can you even call them their fourth line? I mean, they just bring so much to every game. They're physical. I mean, that huge goal right there. I mean, Clutterbuck seemed to score goals too, like big goals. Big Marty's running around there. I mean, that's just a great line. And they've been that way. The only time in the last few years where they weren't was when Martin got traded.
Right.
Deadline. He was in TO, but then he goes back to New York Islanders, and they're back. Man, that line's amazing. They're one of my favorite lines to watch. But
yeah, some grunt work.
Yeah, I really do like Boston in the series, though. But
I do too.
Who knows? I mean, Tuukka looks really good. I mean, I don't know. Like we say, you never know. And then the Carolina-Tampa Bay game was really good. I thought that the first goal was pretty iffy for when Tampa scored the other night, and they end up losing I thought Carolina played well, but it's 1-0. It's, it could be a long series. And then
and the blowout.
Colorado, Vegas. I mean, you talk about Colorado looked like the best team ever assembled.
Oh my God, right? Isn't that the truth?
You took fast, like just everything about the game. I'm like, whoa, boy, I did not expect that. I mean, Vegas did have a longer series, obviously. You can maybe say that had something to do with it, but boy, did they look very average playing Colorado.
Yeah, and then they had a little kerfuffle towards the end of the game there. It led to a 2-game suspension for Ryan Reeves. Interesting take on the actual Graves hit before that happened. And I think I heard Kevin Bieksa talk about it, and he was suggesting that maybe he should have been a little more selective with that hit at that time. You're up 7-1. Like, what's the point? Potentially could wake the dragon. But I always look at it on the other side of it too, where it's like you don't want to just like roll over and stop playing either. You know what I mean? You get the opportunity to score or hit or whatever. You're not thinking about letting up because of the score, at least not in the NHL. I don't think, but I think, and then following that hit, then you got Reeves poking the hornet's nest, sees Graves and does what he has to, setting a message, across the line, obviously a little bit, but I think Reeves is an honest player, pretty clean, tough guy overall, but, the emotions got the better of him there. But that's just the way it goes too, right? I mean, you're down 7-1, that hit happened. Yep. Naturally, that guy would take care of business again,
especially if he gets the chance, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
it presented himself, and not only Revo, but it seemed like he had Graves had a bit of a target on his back from everyone. No one's going to do what Reeves can do to him, but guys seem to be letting him know about it the rest of the game. And so 2 games now, though, you're missing a big fella, and
he's a big part of that team.
He really is.
He's glue. He's some toughness. Obviously a voice in the locker room, so never want to lose a guy like that. But he also did what he was supposed to do, and get involved physically and take care of Graves, if you will. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But I think the Vegas Knights just have to respond. Not just to that, but to the game. I mean, no one wants to get blown out 7-1 in a playoff game or any game for that matter. But all they can do is huddle back up and reconvene and get ready to rock. So
yeah, it was funny. I saw from one of the outdoor games this year. Vegas played Colorado, and they had Petrangelo mic'd, and you can't see what's happened. They have a single camera on him, but you just see him kind of pivot to start skating backwards, and he goes, "Oh boy!" And then all of a sudden, Nathan McKinnon comes flying by
right. I
and
remember.
scores a goal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the whole game they must have just been going, "Oh boy," because I mean, it was coming from everywhere. Not only McKinnon, but I mean, Cale Makar, look, like this kid, man. I know he's been in the league now a few years, 3 years, I think, but it's just some of the plays he makes as a kid. I mean, like as a young player in the league, God, is he a special player too?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've got a lot of players on that team, so people do talk about him, but God, he was really impressive the other night, and I mean, the whole team was. God, they just looked unbeatable, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked unbeatable.
Yeah, I was liking them before that game, and then that game I was like, wow, they're looking extra sexy now. But,
oh my God. And,
I mean,
and you know, it's funny, before the series with St. Louis, I love Ryan O'Reilly. You know, what's he like? He kind of took a lot of shit because he said, we're going to go in there and we're going to beat them. We know they're a good team, but we're going to beat them. And people are like, oh, how does that feel? What do you want him to say?
Yeah, right.
He's the captain of the team, you know, and
yeah.
I mean, you think he didn't know how good Colorado was?
Exactly.
But anyway, I mean, they showed it again. This is their 5th game in the playoffs, and they don't look like they're slowing down.
No, they're a force to be reckoned with. You know, I didn't know what to expect after. Well, it's only game 1, but
right.
You know, 7-game series. Obviously, things can change pretty quickly. But I just certainly didn't expect that start. But who did? And yeah, it'd be interesting. I think obviously the Knights have a lot more fight in them than that. Like that was not their team and not their identity.
Right.
Off night, you know, tough way to start a series. But
I was also
a lot of hockey.
A lot of hockey left. You're right. And it is funny though, Roz, and you know this from playing. There's a lot of hockey left, but if they lose tonight, all of a sudden, you know, you got everybody says, "Oh, we're still home." The home ice thing. But if you don't win game 3, it's all of a sudden not a lot of hockey.
Oh yeah,
and it's funny how that sneaks up on you. You know, when you split a series, it's so much different.
Yeah,
you know, the first 2 games. But anyway, like you said, should be a lot of hockey left. Colorado, that's not their team. I expect them, Vegas. You know, I think they'll have a better showing tonight.
Yep, I agree.
Of course, every time we've thought positive for someone, it has not.
Maybe,
right. Maybe we should say it the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
But, So, and then last but not least, we talked about the Canadians, but they're going to be playing a quick turnaround for them to play tomorrow night in your hometown of the Winter
Peg.
The Peg. And the place will be going. Oh no, they won't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have a whiteout just with like fake fans.
That's the greatest.
I mean, just one big ocean of white.
You know what? I'm surprised as you watch the games, as we watch them on TV. You know how they have like I don't know if they do it everywhere, but here in Philadelphia on NBC, when they have the Flyers game, they have like a thing on the back of the glass, like an ad. You know, like why don't they just throw fans in the?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Some virtual fans,
right? Yeah, it'd be funny, but you're right. They have the fake white out with the white over the seats, but at least they're trying, right?
Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it'd be an interesting one though, for sure.
Yep.
You know, I didn't expect Winnipeg to win 4 straight, so they're obviously riding a wave, and as is Montreal. Jets have been sitting for a few days, so it'll be interesting how that one goes.
Yeah, it will be. It will be fun to watch. That's for sure.
And before we jump in with our awesome guest, Scott Laughton, episode 25, let's talk about these bad boys, Nast.
Oh, yeah. They're looking sweet.
Yeah.
Those are going to be available this week.
Yep.
We have everyone that has been basically on the show right now in stock. We have about the first, I don't know, I think we're going to list it on there, but, you know, we've got about 12 to 13 players, and the rest are coming in. So we're offering obviously personalized. I've already had a couple orders for personalized jerseys, your Nasty Knuckles jersey. They are reversible.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Really cool.
Even had a men's league team want that jersey reversible. So it's they should be a big hit. They're awesome. They're great jerseys and a great price too. Great price,
very nice. Yeah, I love it. Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Good work on the design, Nas. That's all you.
Oh, well, I hope everybody likes it. It was fun doing that, actually. My dad used to do that a lot, so it was fun messing around with it.
Good stuff.
Sure.
We'll get them up on the site this week.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Nice. All right, Roz, well, let's jump into this episode number 25 with our boy Scotty Laughton, and it's presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook is not only my favorite sportsbook, but also America's top-rated sportsbook. I love using DraftKings Sportsbook. It is easy to navigate, has plenty of instructions for new bettors, and nearly limitless ways to get in on all the action. My friends and family have been loving DraftKings Sportsbook, and I know you will too.
Love it. Love it.
You do. You love it.
You know it.
Listen to this great offer, Riggs. DraftKings Sportsbook is putting you courtside with a chance to turn $1 into $100 in site credits. That's right. Pick any basketball team that is still in contention, bet $1, and if that team wins, you win $100 in site credits. Don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook also offers great odds and promotions on baseball, hockey, and so much more all week long. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KNUCKLES when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credit. Bet on the basketball team, Sixers, of your choice to win their next game, and if they do, you will claim $100 in free credits. That's promo code KNUCKLES for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only, wager paid out in site credits. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Knuckleheads, this is Scott Laughton. You're listening to Nasty Knuckles Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Nasty Knuckles. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre, and this week we are more than pleased to have one of my favorite guys ever, Mr. Scott Laughton. Lots, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
See you, man.
Yeah, long overdue. So it's great to be on, and we'll shoot the shit for a little bit.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir,
no doubt.
man. Congratulations, a new deal, well deserved.
Thank you. Yeah. It was a pretty stressful time. Stressful 2 months, I would say. Getting engaged, and then just the trade deadline and everything leading up to that. So. Kind of glad that everything worked out, and I'm here for a long time.
I know, man. We were super jacked the day it happened. We were talking, and I didn't realize you were negotiating, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But so happy for you, man. You deserve it. Like, I think it's one of the best things they could have done here. Like, you're a fan favorite, but just your game in general. It's awesome, man. So we're super pumped for you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Especially around the time when they were talking about trading your ass. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of rumors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can imagine the pressure.
And that's the thing. Like, it was really my first year of going through like UFA. I'm like, okay, I'm a UFA at the end of the year, but that's my first like trade deadline where I'm like, okay, this is like seriously an option to get moved. So. Obviously my heart's here, like I want to play here, I want to win here, and that's the goal. So I kind of relayed that message and got something done pretty quick. But it was a weird day. I woke up early. I had the trade center going on my on my laptop, like calling my agent. But it worked out well, and was really, really happy to stay here and be a part of this. You know,
I could imagine. Like, well, I can't. You know, I know there were teams looking to try to get me on board on trade deadline day, so sometimes I didn't sleep
You're a little nervous.
Yeah, but I, like you said, it's your first time. Like, I can't imagine, like, you know, probably leading up to it a couple days up, because sometimes there's trades before, and you wake up on that day, like you said, you're watching it, man. You probably didn't sleep that well, or
no.
It's kind of tough to.
No sleep really, and Chloe was actually in Bahamas for Gina's bachelorette, so she was stuck in Bahamas. She was supposed to be home the day before, so I was trying to call her, see what she's thinking, all this. So it was stressful that day, and then we had a 3:00 bus, and then after I signed, we go to the bus, and then I hear Raf's traded. So it was kind of like the highest moment for me, you know, and then like your best buddy like
For sure.
gets traded. So it was a weird time, and just glad it's kind of over with, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I was shocked about Raph, but I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about him on the show, showed videos of him, and just what a team guy, and playing hurt. The guy would play no matter what. Obviously, he just did.
For sure.
Like we
Did he see it coming? Do you know? Did you talk to him?
I don't know. Like I didn't really talk. Well, we got together the night before, had dinner, and we were just kind of talking about everything, and we didn't think much, but we knew something could happen just because of the season we had and what was going on. So the good thing was, you know what, it gave him a chance. Obviously, it didn't work out, but we always talked about that. Is I guess you're an older guy now in this league at 32 or whatever he is, but I think he's still in great shape. But at least he got a shot to go there and play in the playoffs and have a chance at a cup, and it didn't work out, but. I thought it was pretty cool for him to go there.
Great opportunity. That's what it's all about.
Some pretty good players too, man. We haven't got to talk to him about it, but getting to play with Chara, obviously Ovi,
some great
Baxter.
leaders.
I mean, they Oshie, they got a good team. I was kind of shocked that went that way.
I was really shocked. Yeah,
I thought it was a 7-game series for sure, and they'd beat the hell out of each other. They kind of did beat the hell out of each other, but I didn't. I think the difference, in my opinion, was Tuukka. Because when he's on, man, he just everything hits him in the chest.
Yeah, like, and their top line and what
still
they bring.
Still doing it.
They're buzzing.
And Marchand and Pasta's still young. he's still young, but I was sad to see him go. But who knows what happens here next?
Yeah.
Maybe
gets another opportunity and does something. But that was a weird day. But just happy to be here. But definitely weird on the bus when you hear Raph gets traded, because he wasn't even on the bus either. He was hurt at the time or something. We were actually going to Wash. So we saw him the next day. The next night we played them, or that night or that weekend we played them, and he showed up and he was in his suit and tie, and he came over like after the game and said, hey, like was hanging out in the trainer's room, you know, like, so it was good to see him.
He was, it's funny because I text him when I found out, or I think it was the next day. And, you know, Raph, like, sometimes he'll get right back to you, sometimes he doesn't. He's not one of those people that are on his phone all the time. I text him, and all of a sudden my phone rings. He's FaceTiming me. I'm like, he had to butt dial me for sure. But he was driving, and he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I'm actually shocked right now. You're FaceTiming me? But I got to talk to him for a few minutes, so it was cool, man. And I honestly thought they would. I'm not saying I thought they would beat Boston, but I just thought it would be.
Yeah, would have been different.
They looked tired, beat up a little bit. I know we know
they were
Raph
hurt
was
a lot. Yeah.
So it was tough to see Char. I hope he comes back another year. You know, just to kind of get
he's a specimen, man. He's got another year.
I think he can. For sure. I think he's so hard to play against. He's so big. You just stick him on the PK and you play him. You can play him 20 still. Yeah. I think. I don't know.
He's an unbelievable.
He's tough to play against, big guy, and you don't want to make him mad, really.
Yeah, right.
You know, that's what we were talking about on one of the shows, and you know, you got Tom Wilson running around. Who you drop?
Yeah, not really a big deal there.
No. So a few years ago, though, Riggs.
He was 14. About 11, 12 years ago. Yeah.
Do you remind him of it?
Oh yeah. I let him know. But me and Willie are actually. I know Willie a little bit from back home and just from playing against him. But we fought in the GTHL Prospects game, and then we fought in the Prospects game here in Philly. Or no, we were playing in Wash, but it was like the development game or whatever.
I remember that.
And I fought him, but he caught me with a right, and the old banana went under my feet. And I was like, "Oh,
it happens."
Yeah.
He's a big man.
He's a big man, and we were talking about him, and he can play. Like, he's
a first rounder.
I mean, the guy can play.
Yeah.
He goes a little overboard sometimes, but. You almost kind of, I mean, when you want to slow down, you don't. You want him to play hard. But we were talking about it, like, not only you got Tom Wilson there, but don't forget about Big 33.
Yeah.
Chara standing there, and then you got Dylan, I think, who led the league in fights this year. I mean, he's a tough
Hathaway,
guy.
you got
you got a tough team, man.
Yeah. But, that's one guy you're not really looking forward to go in the corner with, him and Weber.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Those
yeah.
guys, you feel it in the kidney. You're like going off, like trying to
No
breathe.
thanks.
I gave Cootsy a dash in Nashville, like 4 years ago. Weber cross-checked me. I go down. I can't even breathe. You were fucking dying, and I couldn't breathe. And Cootsy went out there, and they scored, and he like looked at me on the bench. I'm like, buddy, are you fucking kidding me? Like, my ribs are broken.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Lodge, you're all right.
Yeah, you're all right, pal.
Yeah.
Couldn't hurt that bad.
Oh,
Big
it's
Webby,
bad.
just
Oh,
two-handed you.
it's tough.
Right in the rib.
Oh man. So anyway, your deal's awesome, man. We're so happy for you. The season wasn't the best, obviously. It was just a wild season, just from everything, the COVID crap, and everyone had to deal with it. But just a tough year.
Yeah.
You know.
It was a really weird year, and even the way we started too. Like we were 11-4 and something or something like that, and we just never really played that well though. As our record showed, you know, we could never really like get in a groove, and especially in this year when it's so short, I feel like you needed to find that groove kind of right away, and then kind of roll on it, and you keep going. We just couldn't do that. COVID shut it down. Don't use that as an excuse, but you have 8 guys out for a couple games, and then you're coming back into a back-to-back right away. It's like it's tough on you, and but yeah, it's not an excuse. But we could never really just kind of find our game and string wins together, and that's what you needed to do, especially against your own division. Yeah, we lost a couple points in overtime, but just could never really get it going. So. I know we have the players for it.
Oh yeah,
you know, and it's not I don't know what we could do, but just continue to build on it and have our young guys take another step and everyone take another step to be better and you have to find a way, the little details of your game to keep sharp and play as a team, and I think we got to do that. So
lots like obviously I didn't play like you guys did, but just being around it for 26 years, when things start going bad or you're having a bad time, it snowballs quickly. And it's then you're almost trying too hard, which people are like, what do you mean you're trying too hard? You're trying too hard, and it gets worse. And it's funny, we were kind of busting on ourselves because every week we're like, well, here we go. We got this win. We're going to have a good week here. Well, and then it'd be a couple tough games. And we're like, maybe we should just stop mentioning it. But we're pro-Flyer. Obviously, we're a Flyers thing. And it just, like you said, you just couldn't get over that hump. Terrible, obviously, no one even wants to talk about the Ranger game, which I can just see on your face, not being there, but on TV, like you probably want to two-hand someone in the head. Obviously, you can't. But then
probably should have though.
Well, I mean, but you turn around and you win a big game the next night. In New York, I think they played the Islanders.
Yeah, we played the Islanders.
Like,
really tight game. Yeah,
very tight. And you're up 4-1, I think, in that game, if I'm not mistaken, and they come back. You're probably like,
3,
here we go.
Here we go again.
But you found a way to win, and that's the main thing. And but then the next it just. It's just one of those years, and it felt bad for you guys.
It was crazy too because every team went through it, and I'm sure guys will talk about it too. But it's like half the battle is like you go out for dinner on the road with the boys, like you're getting to know the younger guys. Like it's a huge part of the game, I think, and to not be able to do that, you're sitting in your hotel room like. Just sitting there doing nothing, and these young guys coming up, I almost feel bad just because they can't get involved.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it too, and hopefully we can start doing that stuff next year, where we can have a couple team events and be able to do that, kind of just get a little bonding.
Lots. I think we've talked about it on the show too, and you were here when we lost 10 in a row, made the playoffs, won 10 in a row, and didn't make the playoffs. But I'll never forget us losing that 10th game. And we flew into Calgary. And I think Jake said, boys, we're going. And staff, everybody. We went, and I mean, we got crippled. We had a night.
We went to the bowling place or whatever.
And we went out, and we had a great time. And sometimes you need that, like you said, like, being around the guys. It just, it's people don't, some people don't understand that.
Then we
Obviously.
went 10 in a row,
That's,
right?
I mean, then we went on a roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we swept that Western series. Calgary, Edmonton, that whole.
After 6, we were at home. I'm pretty sure 6 losses in a row. I'm like trying to get the boys. I'm like, let's go. Like, we need a little team thing here.
Right.
6 in a row, and then it got to 10. We're flying across the fucking country, and we're like, all right, we need to. Like, this is it.
Yeah,
something's got to happen here. And Jake doesn't like to do that sort of stuff. I remember us. We could not get into the locker room that night because Calgary was playing a game. So that was the night where I got to come back to the hotel with you guys. And I remember Hex and Sarge, Chris Pryor, standing at the elevator. And Sarge was eating an apple, just eyeballing everybody. And I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm an equipment guy, And I'm like, is this guy going to stay down here? Is Sarge going to stay down here to see what's going on? But I think they wanted you guys, the boys, go because they know.
Oh,
they
for
know.
sure.
Like,
for sure.
Sometimes you have to.
100%.
Right?
Especially if you got some time to do it, too. You got a couple of days, and like you said, you just lose
it wasn't
10.
like we played the next day. Yeah, exactly.
You lose 10 in a row. It's like, okay, something's got to give
exactly.
here,
Get back to the drawing board.
You just find ways to lose. I mean, just stupid shit happens, and through that whole thing, and there were games we could have won, and there were some OT losses, and it sucks, man. You guys have both been through it.
Well, that's what it honestly, like, in a sense, we lost 10 in a row that year, but we were almost in every game, This year it stung way more because you're losing by a big margin, and you're sitting there. It's like, it's not fun, It's not fun to watch. It's not fun to be a part of. And obviously you don't want to lose that bad, but I've never lost that bad in my life. I don't think the Ranger game, that was probably the toughest game of my career, just like the way everything was going too, and it's not for guys' lack of trying or anything like that or caring. It's just like sometimes it happens, and it kind of just kept building and building. So
it was a tough one.
What do you think it was? Maybe not necessarily that game, but just like maybe a series of those games that kind of went that way, where like it was like you said, like obviously the guys are trying, everyone's trying, but there's really no like, we're not working together necessarily as well as we should. Like just like that synergy is off. Like
I think that's a big part of it too. I don't think we had a practice for 2 months, and especially the first year AV came in, we got closed down with COVID, so not a full year. So I mean, for the younger guys too, for everyone, you need to practice. You get a good practice pace in, and you're ready to go. So we didn't have that, and then it almost seemed like right off the bat, I felt like we were ready, and then you go out there and I don't know.
You score on the first 10 most of those games, right?
And that's what actually leads into it. You get scored on a couple times early, and then you're chasing the game.
Yeah,
so I felt like we were chasing every game. You're chasing from behind, then you're trying to push the pace a little bit, especially when I guess we weren't going as well as we should have. You're pushing the pace a little bit. You're pressing a little bit more, You're trying to create stuff, and sometimes it goes the wrong way, and it did quite a bit. So, happy it's over with, and we can get a full summer in and be able to come back and have a good start.
Yeah, nobody wants to be a part of those seasons and those games. Like, I've been on the bench as a player and a coach, and you just want to crawl into a hole like in some of those games. And
exactly,
and you guys have to be pros, which you are. That's why you made it to this level. But it's hard knowing you're not going into the playoffs with 8 games left or however many.
It's really tough.
Could you imagine Calgary and Vancouver playing during the playoffs?
Oh yeah, they played.
I mean, how do you even? I would be like running clock, boys.
Right.
Let's go. That was tough, man.
That's the last game of the year. We played Jersey, and there's like 8 minutes left, and I forget who it was. One of their young Russians, I think, came like behind my knee and like kind of like clipped it a little bit. So like I looked back and I went to like slash him across like here. and I slashed him as hard as I could, but I got him like right in the shoulder pad, so he didn't even move, you know? The ref puts his hand up, and G goes out there, and he blocked one, and he, like, I think it's his pinky toe.
Yeah.
But, like, I came to the bench, I'm like, fuck, is that selfish, you know? Like, that is such a selfish penalty. I was so mad, and G's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. Looking at my toe. He was limping around the other day looking at me. He's like, yeah, thanks, man.
I'll
I'm
have
like,
to bring
sorry.
that up
yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
He's talking to us next week. So
Are you talking to him? Yeah.
We'll bring that up.
Yeah.
We'll bring that
100%.
up, man.
Yeah, he was not happy. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough too with like 8 games, but at the end of the day, you're playing in the NHL.
Yeah,
like this is like you have to be a pro. You have to come and you just find a way.
It's a first world problem at the end of the day.
Yes.
You think about it, right?
Yeah,
no one likes to lose, but there's a silver lining in it. You got to play for something. It's pride.
For the guy next to you, you're going to be, you're looking at this guy, how, and I feel like how you respond in these worst times is kind of shows your true colors,
100%.
right? So you just got to try and be a good guy and be able to do that shit.
Yeah,
100%.
Still lots to build off. I mean, you got a good young, core group of guys.
I think so
good veteran
too.
Leadership.
I
think
really
it's just
do.
maybe a couple glue guys.
Mm-hmm.
I say always go back to energy because there's there's an energy source that needs to be ignited and like glued together throughout a season. But I think maybe there's at times it was lacking. But certainly a lot to learn from and build off of. So
you have a guy like Joel Farabee scores 20 in 50 games,
right?
And he's a player. Like we have a lot of young guys coming up, and our older guys were our best players this year. Like G was really good, Jakey was really good, Cootsy's just Cootsy,
right? Exactly.
And these guys were kind of leading the ship, but we just got to be able to come together and I really wouldn't have signed here long term if I didn't believe it. Like I love it here, and we need to find a way. So
I think you guys will for sure.
Yeah.
I think you got a good group there, and a lot of the you got to listen to a lot of the chirping.
For sure.
Get rid of this. Get rid of it. People don't understand.
Yeah.
It's I can't blame them because they don't see the inside of it like we've been fortunate enough to do, and I think it's a great group and. There'll probably be a couple changes though.
And that's more. Yeah,
and I think you have to. It's a good group,
and I think guys realize that too. They realize like we had a really shit season, and we know it. We had really really high expectations, not only like the organization but the guys within the room.
After last year playoffs,
you look at each other. You're like, all right, let's go do this, and it's shitty. So. That's another factor to it too. You feel like shit after, but excited.
Yeah. We got 5 years, and you were drafted by the Flyers, and you had an interesting, road, I guess you could say, to being a regular and signing this extension and everything. But I mean, I coached you back with the Phantoms, and I know you played a few games, went back to junior, played I think a full season in junior, and then maybe a full season with the Phantoms. And
it was confusing.
Coming back to the Phantoms for a year, but I mean, talk about what you learned in that time, because I know it was a learning curve for you, probably. Maybe a little bit blast to the ego, but you responded like a pro, and you did, 100%. An amazing job down with the Phantoms, where you were a go-to guy, and then you came back up, and then you kind of recreated your identity.
I think I took it worse than you did.
I was quiet about it.
It's funny you say that because Homer, when he first got called up, he made the team at the beginning of the season. Was it Hitch? Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
And so it was like 3 games in. Homer calls me. I'm driving back from New York in the truck with the gear, and he goes, "Hey, Riles is gonna go to the Phantoms and play a little bit." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. And he goes, "Holy fuck!" He goes, "He took it better than you. Jeez." He's like, "He'll be back. Don't worry." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I was the same with you. I'm like, "What? What?
I came to pick up my stuff too the one year.
Man.
I know.
But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but it was weird. Like 2012 was the lockout year, so I came up. It was a 2-week training camp or something, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I came up there. That was like a whirlwind. Like I can barely remember that. You know, I felt like I was in a different universe almost. You know, getting called up. I was suspended 10 games in junior too. So I was sitting in junior. DJ Smith was my coach there, who I really really love, and he was making me do stairs for every morning when I was suspended. So I was doing stairs. I was in sick shape. I was skating with like James Neal. They were all coming back from. He was coming. Deal. Yeah, the real deal. He was coming back from Pittsburgh. Like all these guys were skating with us because it was lockout year. So like I was getting a lot of reps in practice and playing with these guys, and then got called up, played 5 games, got sent back down, and then played 6 games in Adirondack that year.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
So that's when I kind of started the pro, and then went back to junior for a full year, came up, played in the minors, played 30 games or something in the minors and 30 in the NHL, and then went back for a full year. That was my conditioning stint. That was it. That was the conditioning stint. The boys always gave it to me in the room. They're like, holy fuck, 71 game conditioning stint. It's the longest I've ever seen. That was
a long condition.
Well, I went down on a conditioning stint for a week. Came up.
You were really out of shape.
Came up. And then I didn't play a game, got sent back down. So I was like, conditioning stint still maybe enough. No chance. But that year was probably the biggest year for me, for my career. That year I went down to the minors in 2016, would it have been? 2017? 2016, I would say.
Yeah.
So I got sent, and that's like, I got a call from Hexie at like 5 o'clock one night when I got sent down, and I was really upset. Like I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. Like sent up, going back down. I'm like, fuck this. You know, you have like those first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then like I kind of tuned in, and my dad was there too, so he's getting me fired up. But anyway,
we'll get into him in a little bit. Yeah.
We drive down, and like I kind of relaxed myself and whatever. But we had such a good group down there. I thought like I loved the boys, like Niter, Singerly. We had fucking. Who else was there? We had so many guys that Hager was there. Like Learsy, Sanny. Like we had a really good group. Oh, Greg Carey, I gotta say,
Care Bear.
Yeah, so we had all these guys, but like that was some of the funnest I've had playing hockey, playing in a big role, playing a ton of minutes, and then because before that I was playing 8 to 10 minutes with the Fly guys, and confidence isn't really there, you know, and you can't really get anything going. So once I went down there and was playing big minutes, playing overtime, playing in these big situations, like I thought we were going to win it all that year.
Yeah.
I honestly did. I thought our team was sick. Like we obviously got beat 5th game by Hershey, but that was a big stepping stone for me to be able to kind of take my game to a higher level, and then the next year being able to play, and then it's kind of just continued, and it's almost like I keep trying to get better every summer, but just trying to find more ways to like be comfortable out there, and that's what I've been trying to do.
Well, it speaks a lot about your character, which we both know, but some guys go the other way with that, you know. Like some guys are like you said, like this, you know, I'm going here, I'm doing whatever, but trade me. You know, but you went down there, like you said, pissed off, I'm sure. Yeah. But you get down there and you worked, and
well, you just got to be a good guy too. Be a good teammate. Yes. Like that's number one, and that focus for me, I think when I was younger, when I got sent down, I'm like, okay, like when am I gonna get called up? You know, like that year, I was like, okay, like I didn't even really look at the NHL team. I'm like, I'm with the Phantoms. Like this is it. You know, this is our team. I'm playing here. You know. Yeah. And that kind of really helped me. Like, I think, Wheeler got called up that year. He was sick in the minors that year. Oh, yeah, he was the best player I've ever seen. I was like, holy shit.
Well, he won the MVP.
He's unbelievable.
Oh, man. When he was in Manchester, he won.
He was sick, too, that year. We played
Richie was with them for a little bit. I think that was the year he got sit down for a little bit. And he was like...
The hands on this kid in the minors is dominant.
He was like 90% on face-offs. I'm like, this is unbelievable, you know? Like he took he was the best power play guy.
Yeah.
It was
He didn't
It
really
was
have
unreal,
any
but-
kind of weird routines or anything though before the game.
No, he's pretty calm and relaxed.
It was mostly relaxing. He's a fucking,
Oh my God, I
like
loved
Wheeler
it.
a lot, man.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
me
I
too.
could
Yeah,
love that
I
guy.
understood what he was doing because I mean he was mimicking what he did in the game.
Yeah.
Like he was visualizing,
Yes.
and he was probably one of the shiftiest guys I ever
Yes.
seen
Oh my
play
God.
Yes.
on a dime, cutting and ripping guys up one on one. Like
Oh,
one on one
yes.
player, like one of the best you see in the,
Oh.
especially in the minor leagues. I know he didn't really establish that in the NHL, but high end skill, man. I'll
Oh,
tell you
very,
what.
Yeah.
very high
Yeah.
skill.
But he got traded that year, or he got called up that year.
Yeah.
And I didn't even usually if a guy gets called up, inside you want to be called up, you're like,
Sure.
oh fuck, but that year I was just like, okay, Wheeler's gone, I hope we get him back for playoffs, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we can go
yeah.
and fucking run,
Yeah.
you know.
When I
For
was with
sure.
the Phantoms
That's
as an
a
equipment
great
guy,
attitude.
You want to win, man.
Yes.
Whatever, even though I'm an equipment guy, we want to win, and we get guys called up, you're like, God, I hope what's his name gets better because so we get, Gregor back, more Greg,
Oh, yeah, I know,
when
for
that
sure.
stuff happened. But yeah, you're right, man. It's
and helping and winning helps you
It helps everybody wins, right? Yeah.
Everyone.
Oh, I know.
It's
It elevates. But I think your attitude towards it all was obviously gravy for your own career, but I think it helped a lot of young guys. You see, you're a first round pick, right? Or
Yeah.
your first round pick, they have high expectations, but to go down and have that attitude, guys see that. You know what I mean? Because you could have very well have gone the other way with attitude, and you know what I mean. I don't belong here, but the fact that you were that worried about playoffs and getting Wheeler back is shows you how invested you were.
No, it was awesome.
But that again, the reason why you landed up back with the Flyers and obviously signing this extension is beyond your hockey ability. So they know what they got as a person and a player.
Yeah, well,
Which is most important.
Yeah. And that's like I said too. It's you just be a good guy. You
So,
know,
yeah.
be a good guy. Cruise
It's
around.
simple.
Yeah.
Fundamental.
Yeah. Go out for a couple dinners and that's especially when stuff gets tough. Too,
Right, yeah.
You know, that's
exactly.
when it's okay.
That's the stuff I miss the most. Just doing those things, with the boys, man.
fuck.
It's the greatest. And back to your point, this year you can't even go anywhere and eat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's when things start.
Long
going back.
Island Marriott.
Yeah,
You're ordering
yeah,
fucking
right, yeah.
some Italian dish.
Little
It's called-
Grubhub.
Yeah, Grubhub.
Hide the silverware, boys.
Yeah.
You never know, man. It could be depressing.
Oh yeah.
I was FaceTiming with Ivan Provorov yesterday. So when he got over to Riga, he had to stay in his room for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
This room was smaller than this shop here, and he's showing me the thing. I'm like, well, can't you go to the cafeteria? No, we have to stay in our room for 3 straight days.
Oh,
He's like, I'm
God.
losing my mind. I said, well, just shave that beard. Give you something to do. He's like, I'm not shaving my beard, Nast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, what else you got to do in there? He's like,
Nothing.
they're doing calisthenics.
I was gonna say, definitely
Zoom.
do
Yeah.
workouts all day.
Like, you imagine? Well, yeah, you can't imagine because you guys had to kind of do that. But and I think that's why a lot of guys didn't go this year to the Worlds.
Yeah.
Because you don't see many big names over there.
No,
at
I don't
all.
blame them. Why
Well, I know.
bother
You wanna go
dealing with
sit
the,
in a bubble
the
again.
craziness?
And the
And it's
thing
almost
is
worse.
I feel like guys are more banged up this year just because you're playing so
grind, yeah.
Almost
back
4
to
nights a week.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was,
the recovery on it is.
we didn't have 2 days off for I think it was 2 months, but I think guys are way more banged up this year too. And then the bubble definitely has a factor. It's especially for guys who were just in the bubble.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
okay, what are we?
I shouldn't say I wasn't there obviously, but I was gonna say at least you could go to that soccer field. You could go outside.
Our
they
bubble-
can't go anywhere.
Yeah, our bubble was actually I didn't have a really big issue with it in Toronto. I was home, so it sucked driving by my place every day.
Yeah.
But we had the soccer field. In Edmonton, I heard they had nothing, just a little walkway. So it's at least you're in it's summer, so you're at least outside cruising around. You can go down to the field if you want, but
They had a restaurant there too, right?
restaurant up
That's cool,
top, yeah, it's nice. I mean,
Did you see Rod the Bod throwing the frisbee around at all? Without his shirt on?
he looks real.
I saw a couple
These players all were putting their shirts back on.
My
He was
shirt,
out-
I had the white Heinz shirt on. I was cruising around. Hey, Rod.
They did I saw a little special on Roddy. He's always looked like he actually actually looks thicker than when he played, but he was always ripped.
Yeah.
Well, they were showing him and they were interviewing some of the Hurricane guys, and they're like, yeah, we put our shirts on when he comes around because it's embarrassing because he's weighs and he's in good a shape as anyone.
He
on
was
that
like
team.
that when he played too,
Oh my
right?
God.
Like
I
he's
couldn't
always
believe
the
it.
best shape
My
out there.
first year with the Flyers was 93, 94. It was a half season. It was a lockout as well. Or 94, 95, sorry. And I met, get to meet Roddy. He's coming in every day anyway, like working out. But it'd be a game day, and he would go up and he would pound that bike for 40 minutes. And I mean, not loosen up, pound it.
It's when the gym was upstairs.
This was at the Coliseum, though.
Oh,
This is old.
Yeah,
I'm old, bro.
No,
I'm old, bro.
You are old.
I was talking to.
Hey, you're in the 40 and over league now.
Not yet, man. Not
Rick's
yet.
joined my men's league team.
Are you?
Yeah. Big snipe Sunday night.
It's
Oh,
40
yeah.
and over.
Yeah. They let me play even though I'm not 40 yet.
I know.
So, anyway, Roddy goes up there, pounds the bike, comes down just drenched, soaked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And showers, gets ready, goes out, skates, stays extra. This is a game day. Goes up and lifts for 45.
Oh,
I remember saying to my dad, what the fuck's he doing? We got a
Mm-hmm.
game. He goes, he didn't know Roddy yet because we had just gotten to Philly, but he goes, that's what I heard. And this guy is just a machine. And he was the Iron Man for
every year almost.
forever. And it killed. He broke his foot. He blocked a shot, and
Is
he
that what
did
happened?
everything he could to not.
Yeah.
And it was just too. It was just
Too
too
painful.
bad of an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Even
for
the
sure.
shots weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do it. But anyway, at least you had that. The outdoors, and it was decent weather. But Pro say like they could come to their room and they get on the bus and go to the rink. And
I talked to my buddy there, like Connor Brown, and on Team Canada, and he said, first 3 days you're not allowed to leave with the meals, and I was just like,
that's Netflix all day.
Oh,
Well, I mean, what else you gonna
They have
do?
a Wi-Fi signal.
You watch a complete series from start to
10
finish. You're going to bed at
seasons.
like 2
10
a.m. Like
seasons.
watching the season finale. Like, come on.
10 seasons.
Oh, my
and
God.
speaking of Team Canada, they've had a tough go over there.
I know.
They're not going to make they won't get to play the playoffs, will they?
I think
Playoff rounds are 0-3, right?
I think they're 0-3. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
But I mean, I've been watching the games, and I'm like, I really don't know many of the guys.
No, and that's the thing. Like, usually I'm pretty good with with hockey names and hockey guys, but I think a lot of these guys are like younger guys who played out in the West Coast, so we never even saw them this year either.
Gotcha.
Too, you know.
Yeah.
Bunch of those younger guys. So I hope they turn it around, man. At least get a couple. You know.
Well, I mean, yeah.
How many games do they play? Do you know? 5?
5, I think. So maybe if they
Haven't
get the
followed.
next 2, they have a shot. I don't even know if they do.
No.
But it hasn't been pretty for your
No.
Team Canada boys. U.S. looks all right though.
What
Jacking up
is
their
their
hockey
record?
training.
I think they're 3-0 or 2-1. I don't know if they lost, but I think they're 3-0 right now. I could be wrong, but I thought they won again.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's again. I know Boyle. So on the team, he didn't even play this year, did he?
Yeah, no, he didn't. He
play.
didn't. Applicator too.
Yeah,
He
Applicator.
played overseas this
that
year,
right?
though. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, and then poor Stoley got hurt. Our boy Stoley.
Yeah, he started too.
He started,
right?
and then he hurt his ankle bad. They carried him off. I'm glad it wasn't his
tough.
knee. Thank God.
Oh,
It's his ankle.
It was his ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his ankle, I believe.
He's awesome. I love Stoley.
He's awesome.
He's a
He
big
sent me
boy
a couple
too.
He's a
texts.
beauty.
During the year, we kind of chit chat every couple weeks, and he's sitting in Vegas, and he's like videoing just out of his window, and he goes, "Do you know how hard this is, Mass?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, zooming in on
yes I do,
Yes.
yes I do." Well, a few years
Every
ago,
time we're in Vegas, we play the next night. It's
Remember-
like you have no shot to even. I don't even think we went out for dinner. You just
Yeah.
stayed in the room, ordered room
I
service.
remember a couple of years ago, Rouse, we were in Vegas, and we stayed over somewhere purposely because Hex was like,
To not stay in Vegas.
"Yes."
Of course.
So we get there at like 8 at night.
Yes.
Now-
Where did we go?
I went out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys played the next day, but I remember the group text, and it was one of the funniest ones at the end was AMAC, I think. He had a little bottle of Jack, and he was videoing it, and then he took his hand like the movie with Denzel. And I was, oh my God.
I think Man Dog, I hear like that you walk into your room and like legit the blinds open at this hotel.
Yeah.
You're like, where am I? It
Venetian
opens and
or
it's like the strip. You're like, huh.
Close
You just
the
like close
curtains.
it. Like, just go in, man. But then you hear Man Dog in the hallway. You can hear him like, hello? Anyone? anyone want to go grab some dinner? I'm like, get out of here, man.
Man, dog.
Man, dog.
Yeah, like, get out of here. We're not doing
what a
it.
beauty, man.
He just had a kid too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Sure
Where's he
did.
at now?
He's
just at home.
he's back home. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
going to play next season.
He is, right?
overseas.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Overseas, yeah.
He's awesome too.
Yeah.
Great
He
guy.
was a big guy for me when I was younger in the
Yeah.
minors.
Yeah.
Like him, Akey. Well, we had a fucking tough team in the minors that first year I was there. We led
Rosie
the
there? Was
yes,
Rosie? Oh.
we led the league by like 1,500
Oh yeah.
pimps. No, we had Rosie, Stortini.
Stortini, I forgot about
We
that.
had Mathers.
Oh man.
Who else did
Yeah.
we have?
Derek, I forgot about
Delisle. Hexy threw him.
Biggest deal. Oh, was Oli
yeah.
there? Oliver Lordson.
Oliver Lordson. Like we had the most.
Forgot about Ollie. Oh my God, he's
Like-
still playing too.
Well, the first shift we were in Wilkes-Barre, and the first shift we had Powsey too. I like Daryl Powell. He was in the first shift. He drops his gloves. He gets pumped or something. Then there's a line brawl in the corner, and it's that Luke LeBlanc and Storch just punching each other in the face. And I'm on the bench like, holy shit, here we go.
Yeah, it was a bunch of mutants there.
You were coaching.
Oh,
Were you tapping guys?
We had
You
to-
didn't
have
You
to.
can't.
No,
yeah.
you didn't have to.
You
It's like,
didn't
take
have
your
to.
pay. It's everyone.
yeah,
You didn't
exactly.
have to.
Fuck, were we tough? And then you had Cuzzy, probably
yeah.
just being the biggest
Starting
rat.
it all.
Oh, yeah.
Starting it all.
Rosie
What a
was
lippy kid.
Rosie was awesome there too.
Oh, yeah,
Good
Rosie
one-liner.
was a good man.
Yeah.
But it reminds me lots when a few years back when before obviously Niski was playing in Wash and he caught you with a hit,
Oh.
and but which was awful. You missed some time there with a concussion, so we're going back to play them. And now Niski's telling me this last year, and he says I could not sleep because we're playing the Flyers, and all I'm thinking is this: Wayne Simmons is coming for me because I hit Lotz. And he goes, we line up at one point, Lotz gets put on the ice, and Lotz looks over and asks Niski, hey, we got to go here, or whatever you said to him. And Niski said, I thought to myself, thank God. Because I thought I was going to have to fight Wayne. He goes, I couldn't take a nap. He goes, I didn't sleep the night before. And
Like, there is a God.
he's like, as soon as Scotty looked at me, I was like, geez, thank you so much. He goes,
like, hey, you wanna-
sure. He probably like punched me in the face if you want.
I was like, hey, can I get one here? He's like, you the guy I hit? I'm like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm like, yeah.
Like he didn't know.
Like this is the second game back after like 3 weeks with a conky. I'm like, I fight, get beat up. I got sent down right after too. I'm like, fuck, what a week. Come back from a conky, get beat up again, and then get sent down.
I laughed so hard when he said that. Though. Oh, it's just all I could think was
But
the
that's
Wayne
a-
train was coming, man.
That's what that Mantha said to me too when he was in Detroit a couple years ago. He hit G,
Yes.
remember?
Yeah, the next day.
And I went up to him after that at center. I know him a little bit. I play World Juniors with him, so I'm like, hey, we're gonna have to go. Like, he's a big boy, you know.
Yeah.
So he's like, nah, no, whatever. I don't know what the fuck he said, whatever. So then Simmer squares off with him that next night in Detroit.
Yeah.
And Mantha came up to me in Detroit. He's like, yeah, probably should have fought. I'm like, for sure, man. You would have pumped me.
Sacrificial lamb.
I'm honestly like you are tough like for your son. Like you can chalk him, and everybody knows that. But like if I'm him, I'm like okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah, what was he thinking?
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
he thought he was gonna dodge it completely, I guess,
do you think
right?
Wayne didn't see it because you know Wayne was.
Oh, he's fuming
Oh,
on the
yeah.
bench. Yeah.
Oh, he
Well, the
just-
one time in Boston, it was a couple years ago again, and that camphor, like, I went to hit him. It looked like I went to drop my gloves, but I actually didn't. And then he dropped on me quick and caught me. And then he had me on the ground, and all I see is Simmer come flying in, and you just hear the camphor on the ground. He's like, my eye! He's got my eye! Simmer had his eye. I'm like, fucking right, Simmer, get him off of me. But Simmer's one of those guys, man. You love to, like, you want to go to battle with this guy.
Yeah,
like, he's got
100%.
your fucking back till the end of it, you know? Like, he is.
I
agree.
love. Everybody loves Wayne. It's not. You can on the bench. I mean, anyone touches someone.
Oh, yeah.
This guy was standing up,
Yeah.
and people listened.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember we were playing. We may have talked about this before, but we were playing in Anaheim, and Proby absolutely crushed one of the forwards right at the was it? No, it was in Nashville. It was in Nashville.
Okay.
And a couple of guys, he crushed that Fiala, I think, was there.
Okay,
If
yeah.
I'm not mistaken. I mean, lit
Open
him up.
ice right by our bench?
Right by the bench.
Yes.
And Simmer was getting ready to change, and he kind of sees it on the side, and guys are coming, flying at Proby. Proby said to me, I'm thinking, oh, no, here comes my first NHL fighter. I'm just going to get jumped.
Yeah.
And Simmer happened to see it, so he turns around and comes over, and those guys just they turned off, and I'm like, oh my God. Like,
this guy's not for
no,
me.
thank you.
Not for me.
You want to hit him again? Go ahead, Proby. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's why I think he's really good in Toronto too. Is he brings such an element that like you don't even know. Like
you can't find that ingredient anymore that can play and finish around the net like that. You know, like
and can still punch your lights out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He is.
But
he's unreal. I was so disappointed when he was traded. I mean, I was personally, but I know all the boys were. I mean, everyone was. It was.
That was right after the outdoor game.
And we were on a roll.
That's right.
Yeah, we were rolling. We actually had. I think at that point we were only 3 points back with plenty of games left.
Yeah,
and then the wheels kind of fell off.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
ran out of juice.
We ran out of juice, but losing him was a big blow. You guys still were, as part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to play and stuff, but man, you just not hearing him.
Yeah.
Not hearing him on the bench and knowing he's there, it does make a difference. He's a big part. I love watching Toronto play right now.
I know, he looks good in blue, man.
I did too, man.
They both scored last night. Spez and Jumbo. Yeah. I mean,
couple sick plays.
Gosh.
Oh man.
But Simmer's.
He looks good in blue. Besides the orange and black. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Beautiful for
happy
him.
For him. He's home.
Oh yeah.
He has home with his young daughter, and
What a teammate, man.
Yeah.
He's an all-time awesome. Favorite Flyer for sure, man.
100%.
So you in training mode yet, lots, or are you just taking the couple weeks off?
I'll wait a couple. Well, it's been 2 weeks now, right? Yeah. So I'll probably wait another week, and then once I head back home, probably early June. Yeah. So it's going to be next week.
Get after it.
And I'll start then, and so hopefully everything opens up back home too. I think that's a big part of it too, is being able to go back home. But we're lucky in our little section. It's like a private rink, so you're able to go in and do all the safety stuff you need to before, but you're able to train and be normal and get after it. So I just kind of start slow. And I progress, and we'll do a ton of band work, like movement and all that to begin the summer, and then you kind of get in. We never really lift heavy anymore.
No, it's outdated.
It's not really what you need anymore.
That's right.
We're all doing
that we ever needed, really, the hockey player. Yeah,
we're all doing lunges and like you're doing a circuit. You're doing different stuff throughout the summer, and he makes it. My trainer is Brian Marshall. He works in Vancouver.
Okay.
He's their strength guy, and I've been with him for 8 years. So I love working out with him. He's more of a friend now than anything, Mm-hmm. So we can bounce ideas off each other, and we got a ton of pro guys too. So it's nice to have those guys come in, and the biggest animal was at our gym was that Giordano.
Oh yeah.
He worked out with us for 2 summers, I think. I think he's coming back this summer maybe, but fuck man, this guy he's almost 40. He's 36, 37, and he's just a machine in there like half hour before, just like riding the Airdyne bike, like sweating, looking at you. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
But I'll get back into it and kind of just heal my body a little bit just from everything, and then get back into it starting next week and start skating probably in a month. Could let my body heal from that to just kind of get everything back into progress and gain some weight, and I'll be good to go.
Nice. I know you're like pretty in tune with your body, and the trainer you're working with is progressive. Like going into the off season in 2021, where there's so much science to support functional movements and specific sport specific movements for hockey and stuff like that. You're a fast guy, explosive guy. Like going into the off season, like, is there a specific plan or an aim and a goal specifically with, may say, speed or agility, mobility, or is it just kind of like all things encompassed in the training program?
Yeah.
Whatever comes out, comes out.
I think me and my trainer have a talk right at the start of it of what I would want to work on that summer and what I can do. Like a couple years ago, I felt so tight. Like I was just tight moving around. I'm like, hey, we need to like incorporate a little bit more band work or whatever you're doing, movement work while we're training, And I think our training in the last 2-3 years has even come a long way from that too, where you're moving around all the time, doing little exercises for your muscles, and I think it just helps. And you're not in the gym for 2 hours.
Exactly.
He gets you in and out. You're in for 55 minutes to an hour and a half, and you're good. Get a good warm up in. So at the start of every year, we'll focus on something. Like this year, I'll focus more on honestly, upper body strength for me. That's where I felt I lacked this year. Like I feel like I'm pretty strong on my skates and can move around a little bit. But mine would be just like upper body total strength of being able to like push off guys in corners,
Sure.
and just having that confidence in my body. So that would be a big one. And then the on ice component is just going to see the skills coach and skating coach, and you try and do that once or twice a week and kind of really fine tune your game, you know? So it kind of adds all up, but supplements are a huge part of it too.
Yeah.
Take a ton of supplements in the summer and try and heal my gut from the abuse it takes during the year, when you're eating, you're still eating good during the year, but you're on the road a lot. You're trying to figure out meals. So I try and do that with the functional medicine girl I work with, and awesome. And just try and clean that up. And then obviously nutrition is it's a huge part of it now, and you have to stay on top of it, or else you're the step behind,
Yeah. Yeah, you're also more prone to injury, right? I mean, you talk about prevention of injury. So you got to stay on top of it. You got a 5-year contract, but obviously expect to play longer than that. But the guys that take care of themselves the most, obviously have the best chance of having a lengthened career. We were talking about JVR earlier, but learning from a guy like that and seeing how he's evolved. I know JVR from when I played back in the day. To see him kind of take on this role of learning how to take care of himself and essentially embody the experience to be probably the best shape of his life. Probably, I would say, one of the better seasons of his career. Yeah, and all because he's taking care of himself. And it's nice to see. I say that some of the guys that I coached and played with really kind of evolving with it.
And he looks good too.
He looks really good.
He looks good. He looks like powerful when he's skating, and he does like a lot of stuff before practice. Like
takes a little heat. Takes a little.
And that's what I said to Rouse though before too. I'm like, he takes some heat, but like you have to respect this guy.
Yeah, you gotta respect it. Right?
He is the best pro I have ever seen in my life. He's got everything. Like for his skates, he's got everything, like different ice levels.
Preparation, right?
Yes, he's ready to go. Like he this year was hilarious. So he now, I don't know if I should say this, but it's fine. He ties his skates with 2 laces now though. Okay. So now there's an in-between, so his ankles get flexion. I'm pretty sure that's what my thought process is. Wow. But he's always got something new, like always got good ideas, and
I give him credit.
He's amazing. And we talked about it before too. It's like breathing is a big thing that's come into the game. And Raph was he got the Wim Hof app and was like going in the cold tub breathing and doing all that. So the boys were doing that at the start, but Reamer has that in his routine every morning. He's on the mat, he's doing his breathing, does his exercises. I don't know if he lifts weights anymore, but I don't think he does, and he looks unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think he's so in tune with his body, and I think every young guy should be looking at him and watching him and observing every movement he does, because that's the future. I mean, I think that's like if you want to
move, right?
You want to be able to move. That's really what it's all about, and maintaining that strength. I think understanding what true strength really means. It's not about how much you can lift in the weight room. Yeah, that's like super outdated thinking. You know what I mean? It's not hockey strength. It's not core strength necessarily. Yeah, but to be efficient skater and have that strength and hockey strength and hard on the stick, heavy on the stick.
But,
But
he's
durable,
a good player
and
too.
player. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
like I don't think he gets enough credit for like his vision. Like he makes like little sauce passes at the blue line, like right on your tape. Like I love playing with Reimer. I played with him a lot this year.
I don't think he gets enough credit for his overall game.
Yeah.
Obviously, his net front.
Oh, he was blocking shots this year.
Yeah.
He was first on the forechecks, like smashing guys. Like he was like, I really like playing with Reimer. I like him as a guy too.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember when Kevin Durant, as the NBA, obviously came into the league and he was so thin, and they had to do the bench presses, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't very good. And Charles Barkley said, "I don't care if he can't bench anything. If he can lift the basketball, that's all he needs." It's the truth, man.
It's such a truth.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Lotz, I got to ask you, it's put you on the spot. I got two guys. One, I'll just say their name, and you just give us something here. Jake Voracek.
Like about him?
Yeah, anything. He was on earlier.
Ultimate beauty, like this guy is like, it's like you've never seen before.
I feel like there's so many things we could talk about, but
he's such a character.
He's just like, he's awesome. I love Jakey. I played with him for such a long time now. Like he's his own guy, He's fucking Jakey. You just know him as but he's such a good teammate. Like he's very generous and he really like takes care of fucking younger guys. Always like my first 3 years, I don't think I paid for a dinner unless I lost credit card game. Like Jakey always,
that's
like
awesome.
and that goes a long way for a young guy too. You're like, all right, this guy's taking care of me, whatever.
Yeah.
And you get the big ticket.
I'm still going to dinner with Jake. Like,
Piggyback off his last contract.
I got the Uber.
I'm going to the washroom. I'm out of here. But yeah, he's a great guy to be around, and like I said, he's so generous and just like he's for the boys, man. He's always
one of the funniest dudes ever.
Oh man. When you guys would get going with the stuff you did at the rink, being able to fuck with different people,
he would just get me to do it anywhere we were, man. Now I've been doing it like in stores and videoing it just for content. I got my mom the other day, bro. I should have said it to you. I'll send it to you. She was so confused. She didn't know whether to shit or wind or watch, man. Yeah. She's like, you'll have to listen to it. It was pretty good. Mm-hmm. But the other guy's Raph.
Yeah.
Like one of the funniest humans I've ever been.
Yeah, like and he's I'm convinced like he's just, I don't know how to explain this guy. I drove with him for 5 years. He sits in the car every morning. He gets in, he puts his hands on his legs, and he just looks out. He's like this for 30 minutes, not a word. I'm like, hey, Raph, you good? Yep. Just looks at you. He fucking never drives either. He drove twice. This year. He's like, man, I'm driving way too much. He's got a 2012 car with like 11,000 miles on it. He never drove. Yeah. Always drove a Shenner, all that shit. But yeah, he's hilarious. Like Raph would be like honestly like a brother to me. Like during the year, like me and him are together the whole time in the hotel. We're always eating, and so I'm excited to hopefully get to see him this weekend coming up just before we both go home and be able to see him.
That's a guy that every day I think he made me laugh. Just something, and it's like it's just dry or it's just real quick.
Yes, the humor. Yes, that's what it is. Man. And he's sitting there, but he's like, he's really smart. Like he knows what's going on, but like his humor, it's like hilarious.
The Riles, you may not know this, but him, Lotz, Jake, and Raph were right beside each other. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I'll tell you what, just some of the funniest stuff. That was the best. That was the best area in the room, just because of those three going at it. You guys.
Raph's all time, man. I hope he stays over here and plays. So we'll see what happens. But he's fucking like a brother, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. And the other guys. I know DJ Smith's one of your favorite coaches. I would imagine Craig Berube was.
Oh, he was awesome. I loved Chief. He gave me a huge opportunity here too, you know, like, and I played those, I think it was 31 games, and he gave me a huge opportunity here. I didn't play probably as well as I should have in those 30 games, but he definitely gave me opportunity. I played with like Schenner and Simmer or someone. Like it was like I was playing probably second, third line center for a little bit, second power play. Like that was the last time I played on the power play was that year, and he gave me a pretty good opportunity just to succeed as a young guy, you know? Yeah. So I try and pull up that clip to 2014 on the power play, working the half wall. I throw it in there every once in a while. Hey, boys.
Right. Remember this play?
You need a guy? We throw him backhand sauce to Coots. Coots is like, show him, man, show him. I'm like, it's fucking 7 years ago, man.
Right. Show what you can do, man. Yeah. He was speaking of Raph and him. I think we may have even said this before, but I'll never forget. Raph did something. He was so tired, and he was just needed to get the red line, and he just couldn't quite get it. You know exactly. And he comes to the bench, and Chief is just waiting on him. And he goes, Raph, you fucking brain dead? And Raph's so tired, all he can do is laugh. He's just dying laughing, and everyone it's just like, and Raph like can't play because he's laughing.
And Chief would go around and practice like, holy fuck. He's like, Raph, how many beers last night, man? You look hungover today. He's like, you look brutal. Or the one time Raph's, he stepped onto the ice, like me and Raph were playing on the same line. We played like, I think it was like 7-8 minutes that night, maybe under a hack. And he goes out. We haven't played in like 10 minutes. He goes out, he gets the puck in his feet, falls over right by the bench, gets back up, picks up his stick, picks up the puck, gets crushed again, and then he says, fuck it. Gets off the ice. He's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm done. I can't get into the fucking game. He's snapping. And I'm crying beside him. I'm crying. Holy fuck. Like little stuff like that during the game. Like he says like some shit, man. And he gets like, he actually calmed down a lot. But like the first like 3 or 4 years, like he's snapping on the bench, you know, and he's always in German, like something heavy. Oh, it was hilarious, man. That guy gets crushed a lot, man.
I know, he's down there watching. Who ran him through the wall? Someone just ran his brain right into the wall. I'm like, this poor guy.
Poor guy, man.
Line up.
He's got probably 2 broken ribs. He's like, gets run over. He's just laying in the corner, too. Called him after, you okay, man? He's like, not really.
not really. Oh, my God. So, one of my favorite Laughtons, besides you, is your dad.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about definition of a beauty. This guy's Kreger is one of the best people I've ever met in hockey, and he's dad, and we got along great. We would literally text each other before games, but he would send lots of come in and be like, "Look at this, hand me his phone," and it's his dad. You know, we're playing, say, Washington. All right, bud, let's go here tonight. I want you to drop the mitts right away. Grab that Wilson and feed him. Get the game going the right way. Put some AC/DC on in that fucking room. Because I would sit, when the dance music would get going, I'd send a little video to his old man. This is the problem. This is the problem. And he'd come back with a video to me, like talking to me, going, get some AC/DC going. He's like so fired up.
Oh, he's so fired up.
Oh my God, he's the best.
I still get those texts right before the game. It's something. No, it's like three sentences, and it's all in caps, like "fuck somebody up."
Yeah. Games changed that.
Yeah, right. Or he's like, he always wants me to take a slap shot. He loves slap shots. He's like slap shot slapper. I'm like, holy fuck. He's taking a slapper.
Slappers are so 2005.
Hey, so Mr. Laughton Kreger, he played men's league no shoulders, and it's like full contact.
Like it was
no
actually
shoulders.
It was actually a sick league. Like I used to go. Well, I was a kid, but I used to go watch. No shoulder pads. I remember the one game I went to. The guy was chirping him, but he had a cage on. So I saw my dad, he said, fuck it. Just dropped his gloves, and he's got the guy's cage, just punching his cage. I'm like, what's this guy doing? I'm like 8, you know? Then he gets kicked out of the game, and then I go in the room. He's like, all right, put out the beers for everyone. I'm like, okay. So I would go in the cooler, put out the beers for all the guys.
Training to be an equipment guy.
I was putting out all the beers for those guys, and I just sat with them. But like the last game he played, it was one of my favorite things. A guy chirped him. My dad chased him around the ice for I don't know how long. He got kicked out of the league or something, my dad. So I don't think he's laced him up again. But
I can see him doing
that was my favorite. Go watch him. I used to go watch with my grandpa, and we used to go watch him play. Every week we would go. I'd stand on a step stool. And it would be the best thing. I thought it was the best, you know? Yeah, I was like, this is the NHL.
So he's living a dream. Elvis thinks riding the wave, eh? Oh, man, it's so cool.
Elvis thinks our league, like my team,
that
we're in it, like, he thinks it's like the best league you can be in, you know?
And that's what I thought. It was just so cool as a kid.
You look up to your dad, right? And you're watching him engage and be tough and a warrior, right? Like, living his life.
He is tough. Yeah. So the last thing, we're in Boston. Dad's trip.
Oh, man.
And so the dads get to go to the Red Sox are in the World. I think it was the World Series, or was it?
It was the World Series.
It was the World Series.
Sick setup.
They get a great setup. They got tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So boys are fired up, and the dads and Lots could tell it too. But
no, you were there, right?
They were going to no. I saw them a little later, and I got the rundown.
Yeah.
So. I got a rundown from a few of the dads because a couple were scared, so except for him. Anyway, they have tickets and they got a row of seats. You know, they were because of the dads, and there's a guy there, mid-20s, with a girl, tough guy. You know, they're like, hey, bud, you know, do you mind moving over, being nice?
Mm-hmm.
Just you're in our seats. Here's our tickets. Guys like, beat it. These are our seats. Whatever. Kind of lipping off, and you just see your dad probably going. Stay calm here.
Mm-hmm.
He says again, buddy, these are our seats. He's showing him the tickets. The guy goes, hey, beat it, whatever. Craig just goes, takes his glasses off, hands them to Mr. Hag. And he's like, oh, God. You know, like, and then he got TK's dad, who's just like TK, this little bulldog. He's like, he's behind me, like, me behind you. Let me at him, you know, and he's ready to Tilly.
And Reamer's dad, Franz, was holding him back.
He's 6 foot 9. Yeah. So the next night, they decide to let Traeger and TK's dad come do the pregame speech for the boys. Now, he did not want this to go. I just watched him the whole time. I was videoing
Well, you get like the second-hand anxiety too. Your old man's coming in, all the boys are like getting ready for the game.
Well, they're fired up though. They loved it because he's like, it was funny because he's saying all the stuff that you really don't say anymore. As far as he goes, we gotta beat these pussies. We gotta, you know. He's like,
you go out there, you fuck them up. Like you couldn't even like. There was no words, just like swear words. He was fired up, and I'm like sitting there like, holy shit.
Actually got up and started to walk out, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing.
Stop.
And the boys are dying. You know, I think okay, we're running out of time here.
It was like 5 minutes, man. This guy's spewing, and I'm like, all right, Dad, like wrap it up. This is like usually this is like 30 seconds.
To talk to the
he had a Diet Coke with a straw in it too. Walking into the room, I think he might have had a straw, maybe not, probably not. But he walked in with a Diet Coke.
I still have that video. I'll have to find it.
We got to 100%.
He's just an absolute beauty. I love that guy.
But yeah.
He'd shake my hand. I swear to God, I thought he'd break my hand every time he's shaking. Give me a hug, squeeze me. You just hear my back go.
But those are honestly the best. Like those dad's trips that you have. Like it's such a cool experience for both of you. I think you know it's like okay, here's like what I do on a daily fucking basis. You know, like traveling around and. Go for a nice dinner. I mean, it's sick for the dads. You go for a nice dinner and you go out after or whatever you do.
They seem to have a good time when we'd go out.
Oh, where was it? The one year in Nashville. The dads were coming on the bus so hungover. Stunk.
You remember in Florida when Simmer's dad?
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there?
No.
Oh, poor guy. He was. They were. You know how big that arena is. So you're coming down the hall. You come down the hallway. You play in Sunrise, you know. So that long hallway. Well, there just happened to be a medical table sitting out on its side of the room, and all the dads are there talking, waiting for the boys to go out. We look over, and Simmer's dad asleep, right on the thing, and guys are dying. So the boys are going to get their phone, and they're like videoing it, like taking pictures.
He's a beauty too.
And Simmer catches wind, and he comes out there. I don't know if I'm saying his dad is Cirrus. I'm not sure how to say his name.
Yeah.
But I call him Mr. Simmons, but Wayne's calling him by his first. He was like, Cirrus, get up, man. And his dad jumps up, and his hat's like this. And he's putting, he dresses like a pet. This guy's a dresser, man. He's got this,
he's unreal.
The
His
best
swag.
Dresser ever, man.
He's got so much swag.
Oh, God, he's the best. We're in Nashville there, too. He had this sick hat on.
Yes.
And this girl there at the bar. I think we were at Tootsie's, and dad's danced a little bit. He asked the guy to play a song. Simmer's got Mr. Simmons has his hat on, and this girl's like, "Oh, that's awesome hat." And he's like, "Yeah, check it out." She takes it, puts things in. He's saying, "He goes, give me that hat back."
Yeah,
she's
like, walk away with it.
Give him that hat back now. He didn't seem happy about that. It was so funny, but he started laughing. He was just kidding around.
Yeah.
But anyway,
sure.
yeah, that was your dad is just an absolute. He's the best, man.
Oh yeah,
He's a beauty.
I'm excited.
Miss that guy.
Yeah, no, he loves coming up too. Like when I was in the minors that year, I think he drove up every weekend. Like
I see your parents a ton, really.
Yeah, he was there every weekend probably.
And I love your mom too.
Yeah,
yes. She's awesome, the nicest lady ever.
Yeah,
Always stop and say hi to me. And
yeah,
awesome family.
No, it's nice to have them down and be able to participate. Be around for a little bit, and that's another big reason too. Like you're so close to home here.
Yeah,
you're 8 hours away. You can drive. It's an hour flight, and it's so easy to see your family. So I think it's really nice to be out here.
Beauty. Well,
I do have one gift. This because he's going to be the first one to actually get it. And we have an extra one we need you to sign.
Okay.
But I have a couple gifts for you here. Excuse me. I tried to make the box look good. It's open for you, but
nice presentation.
It's not. We scared lots a little bit today,
this morning.
But you will see this morning.
There's a python in there or something?
No. I got him. You'll see. It was great.
No, in there.
No, there's a couple things for him.
Oh, that's unreal. A little lid. And with the back too.
I got the back because if you guys don't know,
extended back.
You guys don't know. A pair of sunglasses are
beauty.
Yeah.
Do I gotta open?
No, you don't have to open.
Okay.
Just a pair of shades that we got, and then
this fucking guy.
I tried, but that is yours though.
Snakes don't fuck with me though.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I thought, if he flips this, I got him so good though today. Knucklehead.
He was on high alert. I think if
he's on high alert.
You didn't get him.
Thank
I think
you,
he would
brother.
have.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
He was opening it with utter caution there.
Yeah, it's nice here too.
I put it under. I tried.
I got a little wiggle
anyway,
room.
man.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Really
it's awesome to catch up and lots of laughs and
that
was awesome.
No, just have Riles come inside. This thing's ready. Oh yeah, it's rolling.
How long have you been sitting there for?
Way too long.
God.
Hey.
It's checking my phone too. Jesus fuck.
I had to.
I know.
Boys, we struck gold.
That episode was brought to you by Settlemyre Skate Sharpening. For all your steel needs, Nasty's got the steel.
Howie.
Howie. check out settlemyre and Body Check Wellness for all your CBD and functional mushroom supplements. Check them out. And want to say thank you to Scott Laughton for spending the time sitting down in the studio, which was beautiful. Sitting back down.
It was nice to be back there doing that.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. Lots is an awesome guy. I had an opportunity to coach him for a couple of years in Lehigh. You obviously worked with him for several years, Nasty. He's one of the greater guys in the game. And it was nice to finally lock him down and actually get to sit down with him face to face.
It was nice. Like you said, just it's funny how we know these guys and people love them, because they're fans of the team and everything. But just a great guy. Like every day, just a fun guy to be around. And I know we talked about his dad in this episode. The guy's a riot. I would like to have him on the podcast.
Yeah, right.
He would
we might
blow
have to.
people's minds away. Like this guy, he's one of the most intense dudes ever. But Scotty's just a great guy. He's a great friend. And like you said, you were able to coach him. And to keep your head on straight, getting sent down once you've been up for a few years, and to work on your game. But it made sense to what and now he's more than a fourth line player. He fills in, he moves up and down. He can move up and down your lineup. He's got speed. He scores big goals too. I don't know if, he actually scores some big goals, and just everything about his game I like. He's got an attitude out there, and he's not the biggest guy, but he'll definitely run through you if he gets a chance. He's just a great team guy, and that's why they locked him up for 5 years, because you don't find a lot of guys like Scotty. So it was great to have him.
Yeah, for sure. He can push the pace. Great team guy. Obviously, you proved that. Good character guy. So any organization wants to lock down guys that can play, obviously, but that have great character. That's important when you're building, a core group of guys and having guys around the locker room for the next 5 years. But like you said earlier, like he comes down to the minor leagues and to work on his game. Like he could have very well gone the other way, and most guys probably would have, because there's an ego attached to the first round. The logical thinking, and you go down there and you're telling the guy to work on his 200-foot game and the whole bit. Obviously played every situation, but he had an amazing attitude, and it was hard not to root for him. Obviously root for all your guys, but to see him go back up and not just succeed, to extend his career 5 years with the orange and black, where the organization had drafted him. Super proud of him, and great, just a great guy. He's a guy you want on your team and in the locker room. And he's quietly just a funny guy. He's just like dry and just got that sarcasm, and just like when you're not expecting it, it's coming.
Exactly. I was gonna say, it comes a lot of times, and sometimes it's not even what he says; it's a look he gives you, and you're trying to bite your lip. It can be a time where maybe you shouldn't be laughing, but
exactly.
Just to lighten the mood and stuff. But when he did get sent down that time, I think we mentioned it when we sat down with him, or I did, that I took it hard. Like I was upset because I just loved the kid so much, and then I missed him. Like you missed him in the locker room. Like you missed him being around, because that's, like we said, that's what he brings. He brings, even off ice, he's bringing so much to your team. But great for him, man. 5-year deal. That is awesome. Just got engaged. It's awesome. The only thing I do give him shit about is he has cats. Sorry if you're a cat person. I just, when I see a guy with a cat, man, and I have friends that have cats, and I just bust their chops, but he's got this cat, but it's cute as hell, I have to admit. But I always bust his chops when there's something on Instagram or something with his cat.
He's the cat guy.
Yeah, I think Chloe may have been the one that got the cat, but still he loves that thing, which is I love animals, so it doesn't matter.
Of course.
I like cats too, but I always bust his chops about his cat.
Well, we appreciate him coming on. It was again great to get back in the studio, face to face, different type of experience than the Zoom calls. They serve their purpose, but appreciate his time. That wraps up episode 25 of Nasty Knuckles. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 26. And until then, enjoy the playoffs. Have fun. Stay safe, knuckleheads.
See ya, knuckleheads.